What's going on, y'all? I'm Joe Bombo, and this is iHeartSEC. I need y'all to do me a favor, though. Smash that subscribe button and follow at Bombo ENT Group on all social platforms. Now let's get it. iHeartSEC. I'm your host, Joe Bombo. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Bombo ENT Group. As I've been sitting down and doing my research for this upcoming season, breaking down position battles, breaking down some of the stronger positions on other teams, looking at how some of the SEC athletes rank amongst the elite in the nation. One thing I did notice, there was only one tight end that broke into the top 10 when it came to preferred walk-ons top 10 tight end position. We all know who that is, and we'll get into him when we get to number one. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about some guys that I see as potential threats within the SEC that might not be number one, but there are other positions at 2, 3, 4, 5 that could break out. And I want to give an honorable mention. A guy that I could see stepping up this year is Caleb Odom for the Ole Miss Rebels. Yeah, of course, you have a whole new offensive system, but Caleb Odom has the threat and dual threat ability of getting the ball or getting downfield, beating defenders, as well as doing the work in between the hashes, which you want to see from your tight end. He's that new type of tight end that's versatile with his skill set. So guys, watch out for him, and I'm interested to see how he works out. But I'm going to go from 4 to 1. And the first guy that I'd like to mention is Vanderbilt's Cole Smith. In 2025, he had a career high 233 yards, off 15.5 yards per catch. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a lot, but that's nearly 70% of his career receiving yards, going behind the John Mackey winner and Eli Stowers. And we all know his ability. But Cole Smith was able to do some things when Stowers was sitting on the bench and when Stowers wasn't in the game. And I would love to see how that tradition move forward. After limited action as a freshman, Spence emerged as a consistent contributor at Vanderbilt. His production more than doubled in 2025. As I said, he went from 101 yards receiving to 233 while getting 15.5 yards per catch. And that was 10.1 the year before. So you see the consistent progression in his production. This could be the year. Last year he played in 13 games, had 2 touchdowns. And I believe when you have a young quarterback, it always helps to have a solid tight end that he can get the ball down to. If it's the ability to check down or complete the shorter throws inside the hashes, that adds to a potential productive season for Cole Smith. Hayden Hansen. This isn't a guy that I've heard too much of when I survey the ongoing talks about production and who could have a big year, especially when it comes to the Oklahoma Sooners. In his career snapshot, 37 games, 57 receptions, 611 receiving yards. But in 2025, he had a career high 30 receptions and 254 yards. Yeah, it might not seem much, but Hayden production steadily increased, particularly in 2025, when his receptions doubled from the previous season. And that's all we want to see. We want to see growth, and we want to see guys get better as the year goes on and as they develop more in that system. His yards per catch did dip, but he became much more involved part of Florida's passing game, even though we know that Florida passing game struggled. Now, with Oklahoma, I believe he'll be key in between the hashes. And that's key when it comes to the tight end. And I will speak about that often. In between the hashes. That takes pressure off that run game that seemed to have struggled last year for Oklahoma. And he could be a matchup nightmare. Not only with Jason Witten's tutelage as he just came into that program over the offseason, but having Parker Livingston and Isaiah Satania on the outside, I can see Hayden Hansen having a breakout year, especially with a healthy John Mateer. Lawson Lucky, career snapshot. 35 games, 41 receptions, 515 yards, but 8 touchdowns. He had a career high 348 yards and 24 receptions in 2024, but he led with a career high 4 touchdowns last year. Lucky broke out in 2024 with 24 catches and 348 yards. Then saw his yardage and reception dip in 2025. That seems to be a common theme with some of these guys. That's why I feel like they were slept on. But he became more efficient in the red zone, scoring 4 touchdowns. And if we're banking on UGA's tight end history, this should be a breakout year for Lucky. And coupled with the ongoing questions regarding who is the actual emerging receiver in Georgia, we know that's been a theme going on this offseason. Lucky could have that impact. And he could have that impact on the level of a Brock Bowers this upcoming season. And we all know who is the best tight end within the SEC, and that has not went far gone without being covered. And that is Trey Dance Green. I mean, what is there to say regarding Trey Dance Green that hasn't been said from every other media platform? Trey Dance Green is him. Green made a massive jump from his freshman to sophomore season. His production more than quadrupled in yardage, while his receptions increased from 13 to 33. And let's keep in mind, this happened towards the latter half of the season. He wasn't much of an impact in the early part of the season when LSU was struggling the most. Most notably, though, his touchdowns jumped from 4 to 7, making him one of the SEC's most productive young tight ends last year. A matchup nightmare that will only be better with a Charlie White's offensive system. Let's look at his career snapshots, though. 24 games, 46 receptions, 534 receiving yards, 11.6 yards per catch, 11 touchdowns. 2025, he had a career high 33 receptions on the 433 yards and 7 touchdowns, accounted for 81% of his career receiving yards. I think Trey Dance Green will have a breakout year, and you can see these numbers double again because he will be a focal point in this offense, and he will be allowed to do what he does best in the red zone, as well as taking pressure off that run game that seems to probably progress a lot more this year. Guys, let me know what you think about this. So we're talking about Caleb Odom is a guy to watch out for. We're talking about Cole Spence as a guy that could help out his young quarterback. We're talking about Lawson Lucky and Hayden Hanson as guys that could have breakout years. And I'll be interested to see how these guys perform, and I will be tracking them throughout this year. So leave your comments, and we all know who's number one, Trey Dance Green. None more needs to be said about him that hasn't already been said. So leave your comments, hit the like button. Please make sure you subscribe because it helps this channel grow, and it helps me get the content out here, which, hey, we're digging into things, and we've got more upcoming. I'm Joe Bombo. This is iHeartSEC. Until next time.
Sports, every sport.